Game theory is everything. Human society, animal instincts, survivability, anything competitive or achievable can be explained using game theory. For example, a job opening can be considered an application of game theory. The job is wanted by numerous people all competing for the same single opening, so every competitor plays their best hand at getting the job by listing all their talents and hoping to win over the interviewer and hiring manager to beat all the other competitors to the prize being the job. However, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Game theory actually goes far deeper than you can imagine. But first, we have to look at what game theory actually is before we can delve deeper. Game theory, despite its name, does not actually have much to do with games, as the name would imply. Game theory is, as it says on Wikipedia, the study of mathematical models of conflict and cooperation between intelligent, rational decision makers. One of the most fundamental parts of game theory is the zero-sum game, which I described in the job interview analogy. The zero-sum game is a concept where there are limited resources with various ways to acquire them, and one player getting said resources means less resources for another player, or sometimes none at all, such as the example I gave with a bunch of people scrambling for one resource, the job position. Game theory touches heavily on the topics of psychology and is used to analyze someone's tactics in war, for example, such as a general trying to assume what an enemy general is planning next. Use chess as an example. You're enacting a game theory just by trying to guess what your opponent might do based on his gains or losses for each potential move. You can calculate what moves he's more likely to take based on his maximization of moving one piece to take control as much of the board as possible, but it's not always as simple as that because it's humans at play, and humans are irrational and hard to measure, so they might take a less determined path for numerous reasons. Reasons such as A. They didn't realize there was a more optimal move. B. Your calculations were wrong, and they found an even more optimal move. C. They used one of the lesser strategies to set into play a much larger plan involving future moves. Or D. They had a bigger reason to lose the game, which brings us outside of the game itself to other aspects of psychology such as manipulation. For example, someone might throw a game to make you think they're dumber than they are, or make you overconfident, or maybe just because they like you and they wanted you to win. All of which are also game theory. But we're straying too far from the main topic here. I want to give certain biological examples of this for this intro, though. For example, an ecosystem is also a zero-sum game. The limited resources you have to gather for this include territory, food, mating partners, and some other things depending on the example. For another example, there could be two species higher up on the food chain that are competing for the same food. This creates a zero-sum environment where both species must develop and adapt over generations better ways of acquiring said food better than their competitors. This will lead to wildcats adapting to reflect more light from their eyes to see their prey better in the dark, or even piranhas to adapt to eat berries that fall from trees and insects that land on the water due to them not having enough things in the water to eat. Now, as you can see by that previous photo of a piranha jaw, it clearly looks like they should be eating meat, right? That's because its ancestors did, but then game theory took its course and made them smaller omnivores that will typically only scavenge already dead things in the water. I have no idea why people are so afraid of these things. I mean, look how dopey this thing looks. Well, that's all for this rather short and bland intro for the time being. This is my first video. Like this, and I'm hoping for lots of success with my informational videos in the future. Many thanks to Grade A Under A and CGP Gray, who both heavily inspired me to make these videos. Check them out here, and please subscribe. I've never really used Windows Movie Maker before, so I'm not too versed with it, and I'm not too sure with what I can and can't do yet. But I promise my videos will get better over time. Just be patient, and I'll keep the information coming. Better than you can imagine.